Hello, everyone.
Naomi, that was perfectly timed, by
Yeah.
the way. Like, it faded out as you sat down. It was perfect. I really wanted that door to smash open, like, fall in the background.
Somebody.
Anyway, DM,
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Road to Elturel, our Saturday game of D&D here on CarpeDM. Last time on the Road to Elturel, the party was split into pieces. One member of the party, Seymour, had been lost during a Displacer Beast attack and found himself in the barrows beneath the Fields of the Dead. He was press-ganged by his patron to take care of a problem for the Displacer Beasts, a revenant which had awoken and broken loose and had chased the Displacer Beasts from their den. In response to realizing that they had lost Seymour, 3 members of the party, Kaya, Hattie, and Reyna, charged back down the road. Leaving their horses at the roadside, they took off into the forest, trying to find what clues they could before being surrounded by a pack of Displacer Beasts, hostages, to ensure that Seymour would go through with the agreement with the Displacer Beast for Tenebris. They eventually found their way down to the burrows themselves. Kaya disguised herself as a Knoll Witherling when the group was attacked and ran on ahead to find Seymour in the barrows, while Hattie and Reyna kept the Witherlings at bay before beating a hasty retreat back through the barrows to the entrance. Seymour managed to find an exit from the barrows and was immediately knocked unconscious by someone or something as he left.
DM, may I ask how many times has Seymour been knocked unconscious? Or, like, been incapacitated like that now?
God, there's at least 3 times, bud. At least 3 times.
Jesus.
And then Snipe and Hailra accompanied the mage Ardius down to the town of Subar, which is where the party was close to whenever they realized Seymour was missing. On the way, Snipe informed Hailra and Ardius in vague terms exactly what was happening with the party. That they had heard of some event going on in Elturel that they wanted to intervene in. That Snipe was slowly dying and was told that the answer may be found in Scornobel, the city of caravans to the south. So we start our session today with Snipe, Hailra, and Ardius, who have made it through the gates of Subar, and of course have seen the Black Abbey, the Church of Bane that resides there, and are currently posted up in a tavern. They are seated in a particular back corner, candles freshly lit sitting on each of the tables. There's a low murmur going around the room as the farmers and merchants of the day file into the farmer's plow. A bartender who seems happy to have business, but particularly nonplussed by anything going on. Just another day for him is cleaning a mug with a dirty rag behind the bar. It's very unsanitary. And the group is huddled around this table. So that's a lot of information to take in, Snipe.
Yeah.
So what exactly is your plan here?
Depends if the others will get back. Hopefully they will. Hopefully the plan's just, stay here for the night, catch up on rest, continue on the road tomorrow. Not sure where everyone's gonna go, but we'll find out.
That seems like a fine plan, says Ardius as he sips from his mug. Now, Hailra, you have just been sort of silently absorbing all of this information as they travel down the road. And it's such a weird mix of things that frankly don't really track to any sensible person. They heard about an event and then decided that they were going to go do something about it, but they won't be clear about what the event is. And they won't say like when or why. They won't explain to you like why exactly it is they're dying. It's all incredibly sketchy. So what is your take on this as we sit around a table in the back corner of the bar?
Apologies for any background noise you hear. He was just trying to think like why all the secrecy. Like it might be maybe something big, or maybe they don't fully know and they were just told that it's important they go to Elturel. So she's just thinking at the moment and just contemplating on whether or not she can fully trust about the story of something's going on in Elturel.
Does she question Snipe at all on their story?
Yeah, so after a few moments of thinking, she'll look at Snipe and just be like, why all the secrecy? About Elturel? Why all the secrecy?
Well, if I told you why the secrecy, it wouldn't be a secret, would it? Although if you want any honesty, I will admit, we don't entirely know everything yet. That's why we want to go there, to just see exactly what's going on. All we knew is something was going to happen, and that's about as far as we know right now.
Were you given a time frame on when this supposed thing was supposed to happen?
Not exactly, but... Well, if you ask me, I think that things are going to go down as soon as we arrive.
All right. She just goes back to sipping some wine that she's got from the cabin.
And as you go back to sipping your wine, the door of the farmer's plow opens, and a night breeze comes in and flutters all the candles at the table. And the low murmuring of the farmers and workers dies down to more of a hushed, conspiratorial whisper as a figure is framed in the doorway. And as she steps into the room, you see a woman wearing a wide-brimmed black hat with a black silk band running around it, wearing black monk's robes with a dark sash tied around her waist and a fold-over that hangs down. And on this fold-over, you see a handprint, blacker than the rest of her outfit, denoting that she is a member of the Black Abbey. Her face has sharp angles, a short bob cut, and she just holds a hand up to her face as she looks around the room. She makes a gesture toward the bartender, who starts pouring her usual. As she observes, Hailra, you see that she spots you in the corner and she saunters over. Is that Captain Hailra of Fort Tamal? Oh. Now, I was just up at the flower shop just up the street, and, Anna Marie said that she saw an Elturel knight ride in through the gate, and I just thought to myself, what on earth? We weren't expecting anyone up in here, and yet, what do I see but one of my favorite captains of the fort? How are you doing, darling?
I recognize this person.
How are you too? This is Patrician Dauphnée. Patrician Dauphnée is one of the 3 patricians who helped the steward run the Black Abbey. She is a priest of Bane the god of tyranny.
Ah.
What brings you to Tiamat? Now, you also remember that there's Captain Graham and the forces of Bane stationed at the fort. And so she is also part of this conglomeration.
Ah, okay.
And what brings you to little old Suba, honey?
Ah, hello. I
And who are your
very-
sweet friends here? Hello, Daphne. Daphne. Nice to meet you.
Hello. I just silently chug. I silently drink my drink slowly.
I'm here on business.
Business. Oh, and you didn't come to visit us at the Black Abbey first. You know that we are always welcoming all of you lovely paladins and all the wonderful things that you do. You know, you could have just came up. I'm sure that Steward Wright would be more than happy to put you up for the night if you don't want to pay for a room here. You know, we have some very nice places to stay up at the fort. We have the barracks with all of the paladins in training. You know, Patricia and Carmichael would be more than happy to put you up for the night if that's something that you're interested in.
Well, currently I'm waiting for some acquaintances. So I'm waiting in the tavern for them.
Oh, well, did they know to find you in the tavern? You know, the Abbey is the largest thing in town. You know, it's the thing that most people notice. Do they know to meet you in the tavern? Perhaps I can keep a lookout. You know, I always have people around town always looking for newcomers and people coming in. Maybe if you give me a description, I can give you a heads up if I see them coming through the gate. Let them know where to go.
No, but thank you for the offer.
Oh, of course, honey. You know, I'm always trying to be more than accommodating. Hope y'all didn't have any trouble coming over from the fort. You know, we've had a little bit of, we've had some troubles on the road with some of those, what do they call them? The big old cats with the weird tentacles coming out of their backs. I think that they're called displacers or something like that. You know, we did send word up to the fort, but y'all must have been so busy. You know, we never got a response.
Yeah, there was an issue at the fort we had to deal with.
Oh, is that so? What sort of an issue, honey? What's been going on up at the fort?
Just a Yuanti problem. Nothing to worry about.
Oh, you know, you always have to be careful. You know, just outside the walls here, we got the forest of worms, of course, that sort of separates us out from the Nigerian nation. But you always got to be careful. You never know what's going to come out of that forest. And you know, I've heard the strangest rumors from travelers coming up from Triel. They say that they've been having all sorts of trouble in the Trielta Hills. Those sweet little halflings and gnomes, you know, they're too proud to ask us for any help. But they've been having a lot of trouble along their northern borders.
Well, I will be passing by the Trialta Hills, so I could probably check it out.
Oh, wouldn't that be so sweet of you? But you know them sheriffs out there in the hills. They have all sorts of opinions on us Elturans and what we're up to. And, well, of course, we would never deny them help if they asked for it. But they just seem a little bit too proud to ask for help from little old Subar. But we always stand at the ready, darling, if there's any other trouble.
I know. But again, I will just go and have maybe a look, see what might be wrong. Because if there is maybe a Yuanti problem, it's my duty to help.
Oh. Well, absolutely. You know, I always admire that about you and all them paladins over there at Fort Tamal. You know, y'all have such a sense of duty. You know, a lot of things can be said about us Banites and you Torn followers, but I want to say that no matter what anyone says, I have always admired you for your duty and your wherewithal and your loyalty and all those wonderful qualities that y'all have. You really should stop up at the Abbey before you leave. Steward Wright, he really keeps track of these things more than I do. I'm just little old gossip. But, if you wanted some information before you go, maybe just say hello to good old Steward Wright. He would just love to see you.
I might take you up on that offer. If I have some time, then I will visit the Abbey.
Oh, I'm just so glad to hear that. Now, thank you, Harlan. I'm so glad to have. I always get a gin and tonic from Harlan here. He makes the best. You just can't do better than him. So, if you don't mind, I would just love to sit here and chat with y'all. I love talking with you, Hera. I really do. But I have to say, tall, dark, and mysterious across the table over there hasn't been saying very much. And I would just love to know more about you. What is your name, darling?
Huh? I'm just kind of thrown back at it all.
Yes, you. My name's, I think I already introduced myself, but I'm Daphne. You can call me Dee. A lot of people around town do. I'm the patrician. One of them up there at the Black Abbey. I just sort of, work on relations with the townspeople. Just make sure all the shops and farms are getting on, trying to offer whatever help the Abbey can for all the kind people here in Suba. What sort of things do you do?
I'm just traveling. I don't really have anything going on right now.
Oh, traveling from where?
Give me a second. I can't remember the name of the bridge that we just crossed. Is it Baldur's Gate? No, it's not. What is it again?
The Borskir Bridge?
Borskir, that's it, yeah.
Yo, I remembered something from this campaign. That's pretty good for me.
There's just like so many names I can't remember where the fuck we just came from.
Yeah, I had no chance of remembering that.
Yeah.
Are you from Northbridge?
Yeah, around those areas, or at least along the further down south of the lake that crosses over it. So yeah.
Oh, well then, welcome to. Have you ever been to Suba before? I feel like I would have noticed you if you had been to Suba before. You have that quality to you. You sort of draw an eye with all your black silks and your fancy cowl and everything. You really cut a figure.
Nice to know. Make a quick note to myself to wear less, more discreet clothing.
And what about you? Where have you been all my life? You tall drink water over there.
I was just passing through. I'm just very nervous at this point. I just really want to leave because everything's just got very loud.
Yeah, I think that Ardius is also cool with like getting up and walking away from the table. Like, Hera, I hope that you don't mind. I was just thinking that it's probably for the best if we arrange some rooms for the night. Of course, Daphne. Oh, Ardius Manx. Nice to meet you. Offer stands. It's very nice. But I was thinking if we are going to wait here for the others, we should probably procure some rooms. Of course, your offer is beautiful. I thank you so much. Absolutely, we would take you up on it, but we wouldn't want to impose. So I'm just gonna go talk to the barman and see if we can get some rooms upstairs. Snipe, would you like to help with negotiations?
Yeah, more than happy. I need a drink anyway.
All right. So we're going to go do that. Patricia and Daphne, beautiful to meet you. So nice to make your acquaintance. Hera, I will let you catch up with your friend here. And Ardius and Snipe can get up and walk away.
Oh, sorry. Have fun. And I just quickly, hastily walk away.
Hella just nods and's like, oh, will do. But internally she's just like, I just want to go to bed. I need another wine. But I'll leave it. Oh, Snipe, can you get me another wine, please?
Yeah, sure.
Make that too, honey. We're gonna be here talking an awful while.
Hey, red or white or rosé?
Oh, you know, I love me a rosé. What about you, Hera? What do you want?
I don't have any particular favorite. I'll have any.
You know what? You ask him for the Pinot Noir. Yeah, I think he still has it. The 1472. It was a great year. You're gonna love it, honey. We're gonna have such good time chatting and catching up.
I love her.
Okay. I'll just make a note.
That wine sounds amazing, by the way. Oh god. Want some wine now.
I already love her as well.
Yeah. So as Artius and Snipe go to get more drinks and negotiate room prices, and Hera is about to get her ear tucked off by patrician Daphne, we go back up the road and a little forward in time to the barrows that run beneath the fields of the dead. Now, Kaya, you disguise yourself as a witherling to avoid the fight and try to press on ahead to find the lost Seymour in the barrows. You have been following his tracks for a while now. Around you is the loamy smell of earth and the stagnant air of a tomb. Debris litters the sides of these passages with grave markers, stone sarcophagi, banners, broken spears, the remnants of battles that no one remembers anymore. And a silence fills the air. A silence that is not unlike the silence of that void after death, where you first met the archdevil, Zariel, and made a deal. All of this to say that you arrive at a collapsed portion of tunnel where skeletal bodies have fallen from the ceiling and choked the passage. What do you do?
Are any of the skeletal bodies moving?
Not anymore.
All right. She's gonna just kind of run up to it and kind of put her hands on it to see how sturdy it is, and then she's gonna kind of she'll take out a copper wire, twirl it around her finger, and then point through the passage and use message to try to see if Seymour's on the other side, and just say, Seymour, can you hear me?
Facing the dirt.
No response.
Shit. Feeling the caved-in part of the passage, is there any way to dig through it or clear it in any way, or is it completely...
Let me have you roll an investigation check.
All right. What's my investigation? Okay, +5. That's not too bad. 15.
15, okay. So, sort of looking around and trying to figure out exactly what's going on here, you think that there are bones and there is dirt. And if you start shifting things around, you might collapse more of the tunnel. It's clear to you that what happened was this part of the tunnel was the supports were destroyed and the roof has very clearly caved in. Now, that hasn't extended out into the rest of the tunnel, but the supports that you've seen are very old. And so you don't know if you start shifting this around, if it's going to significantly shift the weight of the roof in such a way that more of the tunnel is going to collapse or not.
Okay. Are there any more tunnels that go out of this passageway into other areas?
There are, and you've passed you've passed through these warrens of tunnels on your way, but up until this point, you've been following the boot tracks.
Alright.
Yeah.
What she's gonna do is she's gonna take some of those smaller passageways and see if they curve in a direction that the other tunnel would lead to see if there's another way around. If they curve into a different direction, she would leave the tunnel and try a different one, just to see if she can find one that leads into that vaguely similar direction.
Roll me a survival check.
It's not investigation. What's
No.
my survival? It's +1. Well, 13.
13? Okay. So all of these tunnels have a lot of curves to them. It has become apparent to you, right, that these have been expanded and redug and changed over years, right? There's no uniformity to any of the passages that you've seen up until this point. So you do find some that curve in that direction, and then suddenly they'll curve away. And then you'll find other tunnels branching off of those tunnels that seem to curve back in the direction again. And then they curve away again. And you try to keep track of all of these passages in your mind. And eventually you do find one that you think is going to curve in the direction that you want it to curve. But you don't find yourself on the other side of the collapse. Instead, you find yourself in a more worked passage, something that looks like effort was put into making it. There's masonry here, there are stones, like a proper burial place, and not just the dugout tunnels to put bodies in that you were seeing before.
Is it a dead end, or do the tunnels continue from here as well?
The tunnels continue from here, but because the floor is no longer dirt, you're not sure how to continue tracing a path forward.
Well, she's a little at a loss for what to do, but she's not going to head back now, so she's just going to keep going in the vague direction that the other tunnel was leading to, even if it's a little off.
Okay. So roll me another survival check.
Okay.
Fire me, Kai.
And this time do it at disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh no.
Because
Kai.
there's no trail to follow.
All right, great. My first roll was an 18, the second was a 10, so that's an 11.
Okay. So as you wend your way through these passages, right, they're much more like right-angled tunnels. So it's a little easier in your mind to try to keep a map of the place, but it's still as expansive as the warrens that you came from in its way. And as you turn down passages, you reach dead end after dead end after dead end, until eventually you start walking down a passage and you see a light around the corner. The first light that you've seen since you've been down here. A flickering light, a lantern light, coming around the corner.
Seymour? She'll just run towards it.
Okay. As you come around the corner, there is a post in the middle of another dead end. But this post has a lantern hanging on it. And the lantern is burning low.
Is there anything else around this lantern? Or is it just the lantern in a dead end?
There is just this lantern on a wooden post and stone around it.
She's gonna kind of touch the lantern. Is it like, can she take it off of the post?
Yeah, you can take it off of the post. And when you do, you can kind of get a better look at it. It's made of iron. The base of it is embossed with twisting thorns and roses around the bottom. And there are 3 posts that sort of encase and support the glass that actually contains the wick and the oil. And each post is a twisted wrought iron tree. An oak, an ash, and a thorn. And together they form a canopy around the top. And you can see that it operates just like any other lantern. There's like a port in the bottom covered by one of the roses that you can pour oil into. Right? And you just see that there's not much of a wick left in it. And there's only about maybe a quarter of a quarter of the container is full of oil now. It's burning very low.
Can she, if the wick, she has candles in her inventory, can she switch out one of the candle?
Roll me. Yeah, let's do a wisdom sleight of hand check.
Okay.
So do you have proficiency in sleight of hand?
I do.
Okay, so instead of your dexterity, use your wisdom as the base.
Okay. So that's...
And let's make this a... We'll say it's DC 13.
Okay. Natural 20, 23.
Okay. So, yes, okay. So you open up the door in the side of the glass. And how do you put out the wick that's already burning in there to replace it?
She'll just blow it out.
Okay. So you blow it out, and then you fish this new wick down into the middle, and you just light it. And when you do, you see, lensed through the glass on the other side, the face of an old woman.
Hello?
She just smiles at you through the glass.
Can you hear me?
She vanishes.
Great. No Seymour, but a strange, mysterious, magical lantern. That's very helpful.
It's a good trade, dude. It's a good trade.
Do me a favor, roll me a history check.
Okay.
That's my new character, Kai. I'm dead. I've got a new character, guys.
17.
17. It takes you a second after the face disappears. But you realize that it's a face that you've seen before. In a hut on the side of a road, belonging to an old woman who gave you a deck full of tarot cards.
Granny Polar, hello? I don't know if you can hear me through this. I'm looking for a friend. Do you know where I can... Why are you here? Why is this here? Just, please, I could really use some answers.
Nothing becomes apparent to you.
You know, I still owe you, right? And she'll pull out the pearl. Remember? I took this from one of you. I owe you something. Don't you want to collect on that debt? And she'll take the pearl and she'll cast Identify on the lantern. And she'll use a spell slot, so instead of 11 minutes, it takes 1 minute.
So, when you cast Identify, which is a spell that tells you if something is magic and how to use it if it is, you know that this lantern is magic. But what swims into your mind as far as instruction goes? You get 2 lines. And it says, when the heart's desire burns within, the lantern will light the way.
Okay. Okay. She's gonna look around one more time to see if she missed anything, and if she doesn't find anything else, she's gonna head back.
Okay. Raina and Hattie. You have emerged from the barrows. Give me perception checks, if you would.
No. 15.
15?
19?
19. Okay. So
19.
when you emerge from the barrows, there is no sight of the displacer beasts that accompanied you into the woods. As far as you can tell, they haven't reconvened at the mouth to ambush you or anything. What do you do on the walk back to the road? Do you walk in silence? Or do you say anything to each other about everything that's occurred?
Raina? Do you think Kaya's gonna find Seymour?
Well, I wouldn't know for sure, but I do hope so.
Do I get his leftover stuff if he's dead? Like, are we just gonna, like, hand that out between...
Do you think that's respectful?
To be fair, it's probably what he would have wanted. Like, he wouldn't want us just, like, haul stuff up. Like, what are we meant to do with it? Like, we'd bury him or whatever. We'd have a little ceremony, and we'd, like, I don't know, put his coat on a stick. It's like a grave
plagiarizing,
marker.
dude.
Yeah.
That idea is
That's no.
stolen from another campaign, Janks. I apologise.
Friends.
And make it float away and then dig it up later.
Like, I don't know, we'll like bury him with like his stuff or whatever, like his sword, you know, he's quite attached to that with his fancy coat and stuff. But then like he has rations and he's dead, or he might be dead. If he is dead, he's not going to be using them. So why can't we just take his rations? And you know, if his share of gold is, it's logical.
If you're talking about the useful stuff, I understand it. Like the rations.
I don't mean like the sentiment. I don't have any use for him. Like, have you seen the size of him and the size of me? Well, how would that? Anyway, not the point. But do you think he's dead?
Oh, I think he'd be fine. He should be fine.
Good.
And Kaya should be fine. They can handle themselves.
Oh yeah, no, Kaya can handle herself. She's on a warpath right now. I would not want to get in her way.
No.
And I've punched Granny Potter in the face, so I mean, I've pretty much done everything now. I haven't ridden a dragon though, but I'm sure I'll work that out at some point.
You're still young. I think you have some time.
Reyna, have you lit your quarterstaff again to light the way, or are you just leading with your dark vision? Because Hattie can't see in the dark, obviously.
I think she'll be leading it with her dark vision, mainly because she doesn't want to be seen by any of these creatures again.
I'll be like holding behind the back of your leg.
In that
or
case,
like your hand, maybe.
In that case, Reyna, roll me a perception check as you near the road.
That's better. 25.
Okay. So you will be the first to see what is lying in the road. There is a dark lump lying on the dirt path. And as you get closer, you and Hattie too will see what's left of Asmodeus, Kaya's horse. The saddle has been shredded from the body, and you can see claw and teeth marks in its side. There's blood on the ground around, and bone sticking out. The displacer beasts got their meal after all. And Sage is nowhere to be found.
So I guess we're walking back, yeah?
Sounds like the only plan.
Okay.
Nature is nature. Nature is cruel.
I once fell in like a nettle bush. Nature is really, really mean.
It was our own decision to leave them behind. We did it to ourselves.
Yeah, that's fair. Hope the displacer beast wander into a patch of nettles.
I hope they go in peace.
They ate our horses. Why? Okay. This probably isn't a discussion for now. So are we just walking back to wherever? Are we waiting for Kaya and Seymour?
If I look up to the sky, what estimated time is it right now?
Nighttime. The moon changes, there's no, unlike daytime, there's no good way to tell hours at night.
Let's go big. Let's just wait here, not on the side of the road, a bit more into the forest, but let's just sit down, make a bit of a fire, and wait for them.
Okay. Hattie's gonna get stuff out of her pouch and start making some kind of like a fried mushroom type potato-y meal. Just like things that I don't think she can find potatoes in a forest, but just like things that she can scavenge from like around her and make like little flavoursome. I don't want to say soup, but like just a nice little
Broth?
Sure.
something dry. We've had enough soups recently. Like just something nice and flavoursome.
There's some horse meat you can have.
Put it.
Yeah. It's right there.
Yep, I'm going. Cut a little bit off. Iceland, here we come. Company, not the country.
Is that a place in
What?
D&D, Iceland? Is that a region?
Sure.
That Iceland
What are you cooking this on or in?
The fire that we have, and
You're just throwing the horse meat and potatoes onto the fire?
No, I'm gonna like I have cook's utensils.
Didn't you get a pan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You actually didn't get a pan.
Oh no, I did
but-
get a pan.
Wow.
Fuck.
You do have cooking utensils, though.
Yeah, I do have.
What does they
cooking.
classify? Yes.
That's like.
Wait, do I
spatulas and
actually
stuff.
have
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
because I'm proficient with them? I don't actually have them. I'm gonna like get a stick and do like a little roasty roast.
Like a barbecue?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
roasty
some
fire.
mushrooms and some horse meat.
Kebab.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I feel like we're being on the edge here talking about horse meat and kebabs and shit. I don't know, guys.
Look, I just suggested that I make something like a quick snack that's tasty, and then everyone was like, "But how are you doing that?
Yeah.
That isn't my fault."
I just love how you're like, I'm going to have some potatoes. There's no potatoes around here. I'm going to have some potatoes anyway. All right.
I dropped you know
I
what?
can
I don't
punch a
care.
potato.
I will manifest potatoes
Roll with potatoes.
with my
Yeah.
mind only.
As Hattie's probably done making a little bit of a snack for herself, Reina will take out the teapot and grab the tea Hattie gave her, and we'll kind of set up a little tripod for the to put the teapot on, and she'll cook some water from her water skin and pour us 2 cups of tea.
I made you snacks as well, as long as you don't mind horse and mushrooms that I assume aren't poisonous.
Well, you can have them for now. I am not so hungry. Not yet.
Okay. Munch.
It's the fact this is all happening right next to a dead horse.
No, we went a bit more back into the tree line.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I said it.
Lest you forget that there's still the smell of your rotting dead horse in the room
Yeah.
floating nearby.
Yeah.
We have other players to remind us of that.
I thought it smelled bad on the outside. You're gonna cut it open and sleep inside while you're waiting for the others.
Seymour.
Please move on.
When you wake up, there is a face above you. An amicable face with long hair sort of falling down around it, framing it. And you see glinting in firelight the sheen of steel armor. And you smell fresh air, not like the stale air of the barrows.
Any help? And he's gonna lift his arm up to see if we're gonna grab him and pick him up.
I would suggest keeping your arm lower than the rest of your body, friend. You took quite the hit to the head, which I apologize for, but also, when a wall to the barrows blasts open 15 feet from your camp, you're going to hit the first thing that walks out of it. Huh? I think that's fair.
That's totally fair. Can I get up? Whoever.
If you think that you are not concussed, which I suspect that you are, but if you'd like to try.
I would like to try. DM.
roll me a flat dexterity at disadvantage.
Yeah, sure. Do I recognize his face, by the way, DM?
You do not.
That's terrible anyway. I already rolled a natural 8. Hang on. And then a natural 2. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you get up to a sitting position, Seymour, and immediately your head starts swimming around you. And everything's like fuzzy. Perhaps, lean up against this tree, huh? If you're going to be sitting, lean up against the tree.
Thank you. My head didn't have to be that rough.
Well, you hear things whenever you travel close to the fields of the dead. You take precautions. There are bandits on these roads.
That's true.
What were you doing in the barrows anyway?
If I'm honest, me and my party, wherever they are, were on our way to... I can't remember. And next thing I knew, I was on the ground and I was out for however long it is. I woke up in the barrows, and then that's it. I made my way out. DM, where's my pooch right now?
Your dog. Roll me a perception check.
Yeah, sure.
It'll be really easy. DC 5.
DC 5. Let's have a look.
Mhm.
Hey, natural 16.
Cool. So you see that Finibris, as you've decided to call him, is currently chewing on a bone beside the fire, and he looks very contented. And you see that there's a horse tied to a tree nearby.
Okay.
It has Elturel barding on it, so that same sort of barding you saw on the horses back at Fort Tamal. And you see that there's like a pack resting by a tree, and there's a fire set up, and there's some logs and stuff sort of rolled up to the fire, and there's just a rabbit that is currently being cooked on a skewer over the fire.
Seymour stares at the rabbit a little bit longer because he's a little bit hungry. He doesn't mention it. And he's just gonna like sit against the tree and just look up and go, "Oh, so why are you here? Is this just a coincidence? Were you after me or anything in there?"
Is there a reason that I should be after you?
Many people are after me, my friend. Hopefully you're not one of them.
Well, I was certainly not sent here to hunt down strange rogue factions burrowing their way through the barrows.
he sort of gets the dust off him from the dirt and shit. So
Perhaps introductions are in order. Sir Imarcos, Knight of Elturel.
Callius. Oh, it's
Servant of Tyr.
Seymour.
Seymour.
Yes. Yes.
Seymour. Pleasant to meet you, Seymour.
Pleasure's all mine.
And you see that the man who's rescued you, he has a sort of shoulder-length raven hair. He wears the same sort of armor that Hailra was wearing,
sure.
the Elturel plate, but his tabard has a set of scales on it.
What was his name? Sorry again, DM.
Sir Amarcos.
Sir Amarcos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, Seymour's just sort of like trying to get rid of the concussion that he's obviously had for the 17th time. He's like just thinking, I really need to get better at looking out. This happens too often. Where am I now? I came out, and before I had a chance to look around, obviously you took me out.
Of course, and I do apologize for that. I hope that you will find some forgiveness, but at the same time, some understanding. Traveling alone on the road can be dangerous. You have your dog with you, who's a very nice dog, for the record. He's very sweet.
He's a good boy, yeah.
It is good that you are not alone in the barrows. You know, they say that there are many things that haunt those passages. To answer your question, you are very close to. You're along the tradeway, on the road between Subar and Triel.
Now, sorry to pester. I'm one of those people who dodges questions myself. But you dodged the question of why you're here.
Well, it is of no great matter. I am on a mission from Elturel to our neighbors in the region of the Triata Hills, the city of Hardbuckler. I am going on diplomatic business to that place.
And coming through here is how you get there quicker? Why here specifically, though?
We are near the crossroads of the Tradeway and the Dusk Road.
Oh.
It is not out of the way, which is why I have chosen to camp here.
Oh, okay. Just you?
But clearly you are confused as to where exactly you are.
I'm not very good at directions anyway. I usually have my party to rely on that. I do need.
Yes, you said that. Are they in the Barrows?
I don't know. I was down on my own.
Of course, you woke up in the Barrows. Who are you to say? Yes, fair enough. Well, hopefully for their sake, they are not. But do you know where they may be found? Where you may reunite with them?
I was honestly hoping they'd be on their way back. Maybe they forgot about me and maybe just got bored of me. I don't know. Maybe they just carried on the mission without me. Maybe they assumed I'm dead.
Well, where were you headed to? Perhaps
Sumbar, right? Is it Sumbar or what?
Yeah. So yeah, you're headed to. Last you remember, you were headed to Subar on your way down to Elturel.
Okay, so I say that.
Subar. And you made your way here.
Yes. Again, I fell off a horse.
Of course, you are very far out of your way. You must have wandered the Barrows for days. It is nearly a 4-day ride to Subar, north of here.
And Seaworth says she's just gonna be quiet for a bit and going, okay. Well, I don't think we were that far away when we had that accident. I swear it was only a few hours away.
Well, perhaps you are confused. You have clearly been through several things recently. Perhaps you meant that you were actually traveling to Triel. Triel is much closer. This is only a day's ride to the south. I just passed through, but perhaps your party was at Triel.
Maybe I honestly don't have a clue anymore. Life's a bit confusing.
Well, look, you seem as though you have been through struggles recently. It is not in my nature, or the nature of any of the knights of Elturel, to leave someone who is so clearly and obviously in need of, well, frankly, help and guidance.
I agree totally.
Perhaps it is. Perhaps until you are able to find a way to reconnect with the people you're traveling with, if that is possible, perhaps I can offer you to come with me. To be frank, you do not strike me as someone who is overly threatening. I have a sense about these things.
Are you saying I'm weak?
No, I simply mean that you do not strike me as a person of particularly great evil or good. You clearly aren't part of a bandit camp, because this would be the worst ploy in history if you were trying to trick me into a bandit attack. If the other bandits had not attacked by now, then I think that they have abandoned you entirely. So I see no great reason to leave you stranded on the side of the road, unless, of course, you would prefer to travel alone. But these roads are dangerous. We've had troubles recently with the reaching woods to the south. There are vicious bandits who live in those woods. People who I would not advise meeting alone on a dark road. So if you choose to travel on your own, I would, at the very least, suggest do not go further south than Triel without some sort of accompaniment. But if you would like to join me, the offer stands. I would not refuse. I enjoy your dog. He's very sweet. He's been surprisingly calm, considering I hit his master over the head.
He was more interested in the bones, I guess. It's how dogs are most of the time.
Oh, I gave him that an hour ago.
Ah, that's why he likes you. I see. Well...
Yes, we're good friends.
Well, don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of being surprised and being knocked out every single passing day, so...
It does not happen to me very often, so...
This is why I'm thinking to maybe take up your offer.
Well, absolutely. I would love to have you along in the travels. As long as it is not out of your way to accompany me out to Hardbuckler.
DM, regarding like the visual map what I'm having in my head,
yeah,
whereabouts would you say like we are right now? So we're obviously Subar was here, and then what was the Trialta, was it?
Yeah, so there's Subar and there's Trial, which are two villages. And then on the west side of the road you have the Fields of the Dead.
Yes.
And you emerged from there. And then on the east side of the road, you have the Trialta Hills. So there's a crossroads a little north of Triel. And that crossroads leads to a road off of the tradeway called the Dusk Road that goes out east toward a town called Hardbuckler.
So what's the closest town to Subar from here? Would Seymour know?
Seymour is not the one with the map.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I can't really distinguish, like...
I mean, Seymour has definitely been traveling before, but honestly, for what he does, it's a lot easier to travel up and down the coast by ship than it is to take this road. That, if you remember, there's like a big divide in the middle where there's not really a true road. Or at the very least, it would be easier to take the coast road, which is a complete road that goes all the way down.
Okay.
So this particular part of the region, I don't think that Seymour would be overly familiar with.
So with the way Amarcus is going, would that actually deviate from the path? Because my idea is like I want to try and reconnect with the party, which is obviously going to maybe not Subar, but whatever's closest to Subar. That's my initial plan for Seymour, but I don't know if going with this gentleman is actually gonna take me away from that path. You see what I mean? I'm really bad at this visualization right now. I apologize.
No, it's fine.
There's a map on Discord.
Thank you.
Yes. So yeah, going out to Hardbuckler would definitely take you away from Subar.
Sure. Okay.
But also Subar itself would take you kind of the opposite direction of where you guys planned on going in the first place. Like, it might be the way to meet the party, but you'd also have to travel north along the road to get there.
Okay.
At least according to this night.
I think Seymour wants to get on the path and head back up the road to Subar then, if that's the case. So if it means he has to go on his own, he's going to go on his own. He's used to traveling on his own, so Seymour would know how to like at least be kind of hidden and safe kind of thing, apart from Finibus. I don't know what Finibus can do yet, so we'll soon find out, I guess. So yeah, well, if it's okay with you, I might, I'm probably going to go onto the road and head back to Subar. If that's okay with you, I do apologize if you wanted company, but
I do not mind. I have Apollyon there to keep me company. Just offering companionship, extra defense if necessary. But if you travel alone, I understand that prerogative as well.
I do apologize.
No, it's fine. I would suggest, though, that you take this time to rest. It seems that you have been through a lot. At the very least, we can break camp here together for the night. And then we can part ways in the morning.
That sounds wonderful. I deeply appreciate your help. If you don't mind, may I have some rabbit as a way to make up for the bonk on the head? I'd really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I did not plan on eating the entire thing on my own. And if we need more, there are more.
There's always more rabbits. And,
there are always more rabbits.
And Simos is going to get some of his water skin, because I never mentioned I have a water skin. He's going to take a little drink, and then he's going to tuck into some food, and I think he's going to contemplate how the fuck he got around here more than anything. Yeah.
All right, excellent. So I will leave you to eat for the time being. Let's go back up to Subar. So Snipe, you and Ardius have managed to secure some rooms for the evening. So tell me, is Snipe in the sort of mood where Snipe wants to hang around the bar, or is Snipe in the sort of mood that Snipe just wants to go up to bed?
Right now, Snipe wants to stick around the bar and drink for a bit, just like...
Or walk around the town, which is also an option.
Yeah, Snipe wants to just hang around in the bar for a little bit and just like... Not really be too obvious, but just like listen in on everything and just like hear through passing conversations in the bar where everything is in the town, so that later they can go for a walk in the town when everyone else is in bed.
Roll me a perception check.
Nice. 26.
26, okay. So, just sort of listening to the snippets of conversation going on. You hear, you hear this group talking about Anna Marie's florist shop just up the street. She has her roses in this season, and they are just the most beautiful roses that you've ever seen. Roses that even surpass the gardens of the Black Abbey, although don't say that too loud because Patricia and Daphne is across the room, still talking to Hera. So it's the hushed bar conversation. It seems that more of the soldiers from the barracks of the Black Abbey have been out on patrol along the roads. There's talk of what that potentially means for the farms surrounding Subar. Should the villagers take notice? Is this a sign of potential danger around the village? The Black Abbey, of course, sort of always keeps to themselves, but they've always been protectors of the town. So, there's a lot of speculation regarding what it means that they seem to be having more training exercises lately. And of course, you hear many stories about a figure called Temerity Jones. There's one story that you hear, you catch a snip of that's like, yes, and then, you should have seen the look on Patricia and Luca's face when Temerity just spit at his feet and marched off back out of the city gates. And then there's another one that says, like, I saw Temerity tending her roses. She grows the most beautiful ones. But I swear that I saw them shift. I always think that she's up to things in that little cottage of hers. And then another one that says, I spent the evening up at Temerity's garden the other day. It is so peaceful up there. Not that I mind the Black Abbey, but it's really a place to reflect on Torm and Tyr and the Triad, I always feel a little, I don't know. I always feel a little weird doing that inside the city gates.
Yeah, I'm just like overhearing all of this quietly.
Mhm.
I take my obviously I take my drink and then I take the wines over to Hailra and a friend and just like quickly plonk on the table and then just quickly disappear so that I don't get caught up in the conversation.
Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. I rejoin Arceus at the bar and just like sit at the bar and drink there.
Okay. So what are your impressions of Subar?
It's like any old town, really. It's probably the best thing it could be.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's a lot going on. Like a lot of soldiers about.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that too. You know, last time I was down this way, that abbey was in ruins. There wasn't much of a town here either, but at least they didn't have, I don't know, military police wandering around in the streets.
How long ago was that?
How long since I've been down this way?
Mm-hmm.
It must have been about 110 years ago.
So what happened? Like, what was that abbey before it became like what it is today?
Oh, I don't know. I'm afraid that I lost touch with the world for a little while. But I heard a lot of talk up at South Branch, you know, about how the area's changed a lot. I asked some questions. I even talked to a couple of the paladins of did you ever meet Captain Graham when you were over at the fort?
I might have just passed him.
Oh, you know, he's he's a guy. Very into his himself. And he's from here. I talked to him a bit. I guess that he and his brother and his brother's what do they call them in the Church of Bane? Stewards. I guess they came here from Westgate a while ago and funded rebuilding the abbey, and if I don't know, moved in. I don't know. I guess I just have a general distrust of this sort of thing. I don't suppose you've ever been out to Zental Keep.
Have I?
I don't know. Have you?
Probably not.
Okay.
Not.
All right. Well, it's well, it's a ruin now, but it used to be there was this group called the Zentarim. They're still around. They're not quite what they used to be when I was young, but they were all into Bane, and they just, I don't know, they just wanted to control everything.
What exactly is Bane? Sorry for asking. There's a lot of passing names. I get confused a lot.
Oh no, it's fine. He's a god.
That much I
He's
guessed.
he is well. Daphne over there would probably say he's a god of order. A lot of people though would say that he's the god of tyrants.
Hmm.
Well, I guess it's all neither here nor there. We're only spending the night, so my opinions on Bane and his followers doesn't matter for much. But if we do go up to the Black Abbey, just be cautious.
Yeah, well. I don't really plan to go out tonight anyway.
That's good. I expect that they probably have a curfew or something. I don't know. Back over the table. Now, you have been so coy with me all night, Hera. Why don't you tell me, how is old Captain Graham doing?
He's the same as always.
Is he now? You know, I always say that he was always just a stick in the mud. But you know, once you meet his younger brother, Patrician Carmichael, I don't know if you've met, you probably have. He runs all the drills, he keeps track of everything up at the barracks. Yeah, it turns out that Graham's the fun one.
Oh.
Who knew, right?
Well, that's a surprise.
It is. It comes as a shock to everyone who meets him. But, you know, honestly, at least Graham has a sense of humor. Carmichael doesn't have much of anything going for him. Well, you know, other than being a patrician and all. But how are things down in Elturel, Hera? Have you heard anything? Of course, Steward Wright gets all sorts of missives from down there, but, you know, hanging out as I do with all the folk here in town, they don't travel much farther than Triel or the fort, so I don't always get the newest or freshest information from down that way.
Well, unfortunately, I'm in the same boat as you. I've not been
out here
to
on the edges of the
Elturel.
empire.
I've not been to the city of Elturel in 40, maybe 50, maybe even longer. I don't remember anymore, but I've not been there for a long time now.
Oh, that's quite impressive considering your resume and your station. I'm surprised that they don't invite you down there more often for honors or ceremony. Oh, you know, I never asked why you were headed down that way. Are you going down there for the festival?
What festival?
Oh, honey, don't you remember? I thought that you were around whenever that all happened. You know, when the companion appeared in the sky and the vampire scourge was driven backward. It's nearly 50 years on now. That's what I hear. You know, we sent down a whole bunch of supplies from Suba to represent ourselves as part of the festivity. Everybody's doing it. You know, I've heard that Triel has prepared just a beautiful flower arrangement to send down that way. You know how they are all gardening and all those beautiful things. And I've heard that I've heard all sorts of interesting things about what Scornobel is sending. And of course, Burdusk, you know, they've been sending all sorts of things. Crazy rumors fly, you know, about the Burdusk priests. But no, I assumed that you were going down to be part of the celebrations. I mean, you were there. I think it's only fair that you're part of them, right?
Honestly, the festival slipped my mind. I'm on my way to Elturel for business from the fort.
Oh, right, of course. I should have pieced it together. You did say that you had some trouble with the U1C up that way. So yeah, I suppose it makes sense that that's why you headed down to let them know about all that. Well, hopefully I didn't spoil the surprise then.
Oh no, it's fine. She
Well,
just like chugs the entire glass of wine.
Well, I suppose that I really should be getting back to the Abbey to turn in for the night, but the offer stands if you decide that your arrangement here is uncomfortable. Of course, Holland keeps beautiful rooms here at the Farmer's Plow, but if you're looking for something, perhaps, a little bit, let's say a little bit less quaint, you can always come up to the fort and come up to the Abbey, and we can set you up with a room. And of course, we can walk around the gardens, and you can say hello to everybody and update everybody on the fort. Of course, who knows? Stuart Wright might already know about everything that's going up on there. He's so good about knowing things, It's just his skill. He's very good at it. But I will leave you in peace. I've talked your ear off all night, Hera. It is so pleasant to talk to you, though I don't get to see you nearly enough. You got to come over to Subar more often. I would just love to sit down and chat with you anytime you want to come on down. I would love to make up room for my favorite cap. Well, outside of Graham, of course, I do have a soft spot in my heart for Captain Graham, but I will always make room for you, Hera.
Oh, thank you for the offer. I'm probably only going to be here one night, so the inn is just fine for me, but I will come by Subar more often.
I absolutely insist on it. And she'll just stand up from the table, put her hat back on, and just saunter out the door in her way.
The moment she leaves, Hella's just going to be like, oh, I need some wine. She's going to go up to the bar and get 2 bottles of wine.
Okay.
But then she's going to look at Snipe and Arteus and is just going to... Did you know there was a festival going on soon in Elturel?
No.
I'm from Waterdeep.
Well, according to Talky Lips, there's a festival going on. I don't know when. It could be something to do with why you need to go.
Maybe, or maybe not. Depends, really. It's up in the air right now.
And then we'll fade out on that scene, and we'll take our mid-game break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, Janks, can you do me a favor? Could you send me a picture of the map and X where Seymour is around about? So just because I want to make a decision based on that.
Yes.
It's so
Cool,
weird,
thank
to be
you.
honest. That you're 4 days behind after Subar, basically.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
4 days
You gotta go
behind.
back.
Fast
Backtracking.
traveled
Oh,
out of
fuck.
nowhere.
I am making decisions based on where I am.
Meanwhile,
So-
we're halfway between Borsco Bridge and Zubar, going where's Seymour? And you're I'm already at Elturel. Where are you guys?
Meanwhile, Gaia.
I have a couple of ideas to play around with this. But yeah, alright, 10 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, dudes. Peace. It's good fun. Bye.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. So before our break, the pub goers, Snipe and Hailra and Ardius, have just recently escaped the clutches of patrician Daphne as she went off to go turn in for the night after talking Hailra's ear off and revealing to Hailra that there are festivals going on down in Elturel right now. But where we are jumping back into our game at is with Kaya, who is wandering the tunnels. So Kaya, you've turned back and you have continued wandering these tunnels. Now, tell me, because we didn't establish it before, have you been leaving some sort of demarcations behind? Or have you been drawing out a map as you go? Or is this entirely on instinct? You're just like going?
I like the idea that Kaya had like basically drawn a very rough map of where she's gone, just like on her arm as she's been going.
Okay.
But yeah, she isn't paying like she isn't doing a very thorough job of it though. She's more interested in trying to get to places as quickly as possible than she is in being thorough about where she's been.
Sure, it's like a subway map. It's just like lines, and you're just like, maybe it makes sense. I don't know. Okay.
But she will, as she's heading back, she'll look at the lantern that she now has. She's just going to say, all right, lantern, my heart's desire that burns within is to find Seymour, so, lead the way. No? All right, she's going to keep looking.
I'll let you take an Arcana check if you're interested.
Ooh. Arcana check, I'll take that.
Have we ever done an Arcana check? I think we've done once.
I have.
Once or something.
It's a 12.
12, okay. Whenever magical things... okay, right. So Kaya's greatest gripe with anything magical is that it's always also stupidly cryptic and vague. These instructions fall into that category of stupidly cryptic and vague. You don't know, though, if they are literal instructions or metaphorical instructions. That's what you have to figure out. You have to figure out exactly how metaphorical or literal these instructions are being. Because identify. It says, when your heart's desire burns within, the lantern will light the path.
Okay. Let's see. Do I have anything of Seymour's on me?
Ooh, interesting question.
Oh,
you do.
Have pieces of his jack coat that
Yes.
I got when I was tracking him. That's right.
Last session, you found a piece of his coat. Yes. Caught on a fire.
All right, she'll take a piece of that coat. She'll tear it into two pieces. She'll put one piece in her pocket, and then she will produce flame to light the candle, and she'll burn the piece of Seymour's jacket on the candle in the lantern. See if that does anything.
So as the fabric catches the silks and the cottons, right, they burst into flame. Something that Kai has seen once before, but on a smaller scale this time. And as the light flares up and then settles back down, you see that the light doesn't settle back down evenly. most of it dims to the level that the lantern was at before, but some of it stays bright. A set of footprints that track off down the tunnels.
I'll follow those.
Okay. In that case, Seymour,
Yeah.
you are enjoying your rabbit for the evening. And Amarcos is basically sitting there companionably with you, telling you stories of the many things that he's seen in his travels.
Are we
And
drinking,
then-
DM? Are we having a little bit of like wine, a little bit of loosening up kind of vibe?
Absolutely.
That's
Beer
fine.
is the traveler's water, right?
Perfect.
It doesn't have germs.
Yes.
So yes, then I was down in Burdusk, and you know the old saying, honest as a Burdusk priest. Well, as it turns out, that saying is true, at least in the case of the priest that I went into. Long story short, we did eventually get the chicken back, but there were some concessions that had to be made.
Well, it seems that you've had quite an adventure in your life. However long that life's been, I'm not gonna ask. That's kind of rude of me if I ask. But
What a strange thing to find rude.
but you should never assume and never ask someone their age. I know. It's one of those.
Well, I can say that I have been a knight of Elturel for 15 years now, as my father and grandfather were before me.
15 years. So you've seen a lot of happenings and going-ons in Elturel.
I have. There have been many great things that have happened beneath the Companion's Light.
Anything of sort recently? Any changes going on, or
Changes?
yeah,
What sort of changes?
anything? I mean, I'm going to assume that during the conversation, I think Seymour would have mentioned that he is heading towards Elturel, if I'm honest with you, DM.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think he would. Like, he can't talk his way out of it otherwise, I don't think. But yeah, he's just going to go, yeah, you know, it's been such a long time since I've been there, and I don't know. I've heard of strange things going down everywhere. You know, things of corrupted beasts and stuff, so just making sure that everything else is okay, I guess.
Well, outside of the problems that we've been having in the Reaching Woods, Elturel has been the shining beacon of hope that it always has been. Of course, we flourish under the oversight of our great overseer, the Thavius Krieg.
Have I heard of that person before, DM?
That's a great question. Hattie does tell everyone everything.
That's true. But do I listen to Hattie?
All right, fine. Roll me a history check.
Yeah. I'm gonna be real, dudes. 13. I don't think. Have I got any pluses?
She has specifically mentioned that she got
15.
a warning about that person.
Yes. So I set the DC lower for that. Don't worry, Hattie. I got you. I'm listening to what you have to say.
Yeah, sorry.
you.
Sorry, Hattie.
Not many people do. I've accepted it. At
It's
this point.
actually just me not taking notes more than anything.
No, it's all good.
I get that. I totally get that.
Like it's what my character would do, obviously.
Yeah,
15.
you remember Hattie mentioning the name Thavius Krieg. You don't remember the context because self-admittedly you kind of zone in and out whenever Hattie's talking, but she's definitely mentioned the name Thavius Krieg in relation to Candlekeep.
Thavius Krieg. Why does that ring a bell? Is he Have I heard stories?
I'm
about
sure
him,
that
or-
I'm sure that you've heard of his deeds. It was nearly 50 years ago now that he fought alongside many of the great heroes of Elturel to rid us of the vampire scourge.
Oh, vampire scourge. That's
Yes.
interesting. So what's his business now? There is he just a local hero? Is he the leader?
He is the leader. He is the High Overseer of Elturel. He guides us all in the light of Torm and the Triad. And he is the upholder of the Creed Resolute, to which we have all sworn.
And is the business you're having in Hardbuckler similar to that, or any relation, or is it just completely separate?
My business in Hardbuckler, it has to do with the trouble of the Reaching Woods.
Okay.
Of course, it was our High Overseer, along with the council of Elturel, who determined that it was best to forge some sort of alliance between Hardbuckler and Elturel in order to deal with this problem. And I was chosen to ride out.
That's very admirable. Well, maybe I'll get a chance to meet him. It'd be pretty nice to meet a local hero. Huh.
A nation's hero. But yes, perhaps you will. They are preparing a festival currently to celebrate the 50th year of our companion. May it shine long in the sky.
50 years. When does it take place, this festival?
Let's see. Well, when I left, they were doing preparations for it. I believe that they are supposed to have it on the 1st of the month.
Interesting. DM, is that in line with the prophecies and stuff we've had? No?
Mm-mm.
Okay, cool. Just want to know. Huh. Well, hopefully I'll be there to witness the festival for myself. I don't think I've ever seen it before. I don't get a chance to celebrate that much. Be a nice little break, actually. Maybe my friends are going there now.
There'll be many festivities. We'll have a jousting tournament. Of course, Davius Krieg will be there. He presides over the grand tournament. He hands out prizes to all of the participants. It is a grand feast, and we all celebrate the Triad. May they long reign.
Are we
Your
able to...
Torm Ilmater.
And yes, to you. Are we... Oh, is anyone allowed to join the jousting? We have a very good horse, actually. It's very useful, very skillful, and one of our companions is very, very good at riding them. They take a lot of pride in our horse, actually. So maybe we can enter it into a tournament and...
Absolutely.
That'd be pretty good, actually. Whenever I meet them, I'll let them know.
Yes, there's always room for late entries into the jousting tournament. So, yes, if you want to participate, absolutely. As long as you make it before the tournament starts, you can always add your name into the hat and try your best.
Sounds a lot of fun, actually. Do any horses get injured during these tournaments? we want to make sure our horse is okay, you know? Make sure it's safe.
No. Of course,
it's all so mad. I'm so sorry.
There is occasionally danger to the participants. You know, never death. We do keep healers on hand, should it arise. However, many people tend to get bumps and bruises. You know, a lance, even a blunted lance.
Of course, that's understandable. We actually have a healer ourselves. They are very talented. Yeah, they have a horse as well, actually. But every time that horse gets a little bruise, heal them straight away. It's companionship.
That is incredibly sweet. You know, I always say that there is no greater bond than a rider and their horse.
It's a connection, isn't there?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine ever losing a Apollyon.
I'd hate to.
He was a gift to me from my father.
Wow.
Whenever I joined,
Like family, just family.
whenever
They feel like family, don't they?
He was sired by my father's horse, and so it is generations of bond between man and animal.
Oh, it's.
We got Torsi, the torso horse. Meanwhile.
What did we ever do to you? Oh, don't answer that question. Actually, we really fucked up on that front.
Hey y'all.
Yeah, this is payback. It's fine. It's fine.
Torsi, the torso.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What?
So have you decided where it is you will go next?
So we're
Back to
very,
Suba?
I don't know. It's what's the closest settlement? Is it? Did you mention that it was Triel? What is next to us?
Yes, Triel. It's a small village, a bit closer to Skornobel than it is to Suba. It is a nice place. The people are very kind there. It is a very small town. Honestly, mostly farms. Just a small community of people that help each other out. It's very nice. Not incredibly well defended, I'm afraid. We usually try to, particularly with the issues lately with these marauders in the woods, we have been particularly concerned about the security of Triel. We have, I just knocked that into my cup. Sorry, broke immersion. We have been particularly concerned with the security of Triel, but there should be a retinue of knights making their way up from Skornobel very soon, which will act as a defense for the village until we can get this marauder issue sorted.
That sounds wonderful, actually. A bit of defense, and I don't know. Maybe I'll find my friends here. I'm being honest with you now. I was in that crypt, whatever it was. I have no idea how long I was out for.
It's frankly impressive that you have made it as far as you have. Not to assume about your skills, but based on how easily you went down whenever clocked in the head with the hilt of a sword, surviving in the barrows is no small feat. There are many tales of haunts and spirits in that place. I'm impressed with you.
Oh, thank you. Honestly, I owe it all to Finibris. He's very inept at avoiding danger, and he just sort of guided me through, and the only danger I actually came across was you bonking me on the head, if I'm being honest.
Well, again, I ask for forgiveness in the...
It's already been forgiven.
Yes.
No problem.
Thank you.
But, yes, because I don't know how much time has passed, and frankly, I don't know why I'm here. When I entered the crypt, we were way further north.
Yes, you mentioned that. It is strange.
Any idea how that happened? I've heard of teleportation circles and teleporting.
Did you walk into one?
I don't remember. Honestly, you hitting me on the head sort of made me blank a tiny bit.
Well, again.
Yeah, apologies.
I apologize.
Again, don't worry. You're very polite. But,
perhaps it is fair if you bonk me on the head, yes?
It's okay, and I'm gonna, like, nod at Finibris, and he's just gonna have a little pee on his leg, and then a little one like
Finibris doesn't listen to you.
Oh, no. I'm gonna, like, and no response. So it's like, oh, okay.
Roll me an animal handling.
Yes!
Roll me an animal handling.
With advantage because I'm awesome? No? Alright. Oh, fuck me. That's a 5.
Ooh.
-2 to animal handling, y'all. Let's go.
Now you have to piss on the fire.
Yeah, you don't beat his charisma score, and
Of course,
so
I completely understand. I'm learning. Simo's learning how to handle it. But I think it's actually a better idea for me to go to Trial right now. I don't know if they're in front of me. I don't know if they're back up there, and getting there is going to take a long time anyway. And things happen on the way to where we actually went beforehand, Sunbar. But I think it's safer for me to go to Trial right now. I really do. And if you need a bit of help, maybe I can be there to pass the time, and hopefully we'll be in contact somehow. I don't know. Do you have anything that can help me contact anyone? Is that your speciality? I don't really know.
How do you feel about carrier pigeons?
I'm neither here or there with them. It's a bit slow sometimes, depending on if they're magical or not.
These ones aren't. Actually, honestly, they only know how to home in on Elturel. So perhaps this is a pointless event. No, I'm afraid that I don't do that sort of magic. It tends to be not a lot of people do that sort of magic.
It's okay. It's not really what you're needed for, I guess. You got your own speciality, and everyone else has theirs, so it's okay.
Yes.
But yes, I'll probably be making my way to Trial more than anything in the morning. So I think that's the safest bet, and I'll just have to wait it out.
All right.
Obviously, you can accompany me there until we get to the road, and then we can part ways to make sure that at least when it's time to split, we can be safe.
Of course. I can accompany you as far as the road, and we can part ways amicably there. Yes.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Okay. Now we are going to go back over to Subar. First, Helra. You're standing before the high hall of Elturel. There are scattered around you the unconscious or dead bodies of many of your companions. And at your back...
Previous companions or these companions?
Previous knights.
Oh.
Knights of Elturel. And you are standing back to back with Tamal. And surrounding you are vampire spawn. And there is a din everywhere of fights as many of the companions line against the doors of the High Hall, where all of the townspeople that you could rescue are. And you hear Tamal shout to everyone around you, defend the hall. Seal it with your bodies if you must. We cannot allow them to breach. And she is going to call over her shoulder. And she said, it has been an honor to serve with you. If this is where we die, we can die knowing that we've fought for what we believed in. And I need you to roll initiative as vampire spawn attack.
Okay. 4.
4, okay. All right. Let's see. Vampire spawn, we get there. And Tamal is going to go here. So as these vampire spawn rush you, Tamal puts a hand to your back and forces you down to the ground as a vampire spawn flies at your face, and she swings her greatsword in one hand over top of where you were, and she makes a slash at this vampire spawn, and she crits it. So like this vampire spawn flies in at you, and you just see her bring her greatsword down through its body and just slash through it. And then immediately, a second vampire spawn, and then a third one leaps toward her, and you see one of them she dodges out of the way of, but another attacks her from the other side, and just latches onto her back and starts wailing with its claws. And you can see that they are rending through her armor. What would you like to do?
So I'm going to assume that I'm basing it as if I've got all my spell slots.
Yes, this is roll me an insight check, actually.
9.
9. Okay. This is fight or flight. Like, you are fighting for your life right now beside Paladin Tamal.
Okay. Right, yeah, so I am going to I'm going to attack with my quarterstaff. I'm going to do two-handed it.
Okay.
And so I'm assuming I've got my spell slots. I am going to... How many vampires are there on Tamal?
There are 2 on Tamal, and more encroaching around you as knights continue to try to beat them back.
Okay, so I will do 1 attack on each vampire,
Okay.
and I will Divine Smite on each of them as well. I'm trying to think how much Divine Smite I have. Because vampires are undead, I can extra D8, right?
Yes.
Okay. Right, so I could do 3d8. So for the first attack, that is 22 to hit on the first vampire.
22, okay. You hit it.
And on the second, that is a 15.
15, all right. So are you trying to land both attacks on the vampire attacking Tamal?
Yes, if there's 2 vampires on Tamal, I'm going to, with the quarterstaff, like, hit one, switch, hit the other.
Okay, all right. And how much Divine Smite do you do?
So did the 15 hit as well?
Yes.
Okay. So the first attack does 11 bludgeoning on 1 vampire. I'll do the Divine Smite in a second. Okay. The second attack is 5.
Okay.
Don't you just is Divine Smite a spell? What you use a spell slot, and what level spell slot you use?
You use a spell slot, but it doesn't count as a spell.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So you just add it on top of the damage.
So I didn't know if you could do like I do this at level 5 and then it does this amount of damage. I don't know how it works. That's all.
You can do it at higher levels.
Okay, you're just doing base. I get it.
Yeah. And because it's undead, you get an extra die on top. So on the first one, that's 13 radiant.
Okay.
And on the second, that is 12 radiant.
12 radiant. Okay. So you bash into one and you hit it right in the temple, and there's this flash of radiant energy and it's knocked off of Tamal's back, and then you swing around and hit the other one with the other side of your quarterstaff, and it's knocked back as well. Tamal makes a wild swing as a fourth vampire comes towards you, and misses as she overextends and lands her greatsword hard against the cobblestone bricks. And then all of the vampires swarm in. Two of them latch onto Tamal. Again, one overshoots and misses, while another one bites down on the armor and pierces it. And you hear Tamal scream out as this thing pierces into her shoulder. And one of them attacks you, and it is going to crit on you. And it's going to come at you with its claws. So this is the second one that you hit. The one that was knocked back immediately comes back at you again. And deals you 18 points of slashing damage as it rends through your Elturel armor.
I like how you said claws, by the way, Janks. It was like very claws. It was very aggressive. I like it.
Claws,
I like
yes.
it. It's good shit.
And as it comes back around to your turn, Tamal shouts, "Hold the line! Hold the line! Trust that the gods will answer our prayers," as she picks up her sword again and steadies herself for a second blow.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to attack twice again.
Okay.
So I'll attack again with the quarterstaff, but I'll attack, and then I'll attack the two vampires again.
Okay.
So the first one is an 18 to hit.
That'll hit.
Alright. And the second is 23 to hit.
That'll also hit. Roll your damage.
Okay. I'm also using Divine Smite on this at first level.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the first vampire gets 9 bludgeoning and 12 radiant.
Okay.
And the second vampire gets 8 bludgeoning and 15 radiant.
Okay. So you whack the one that has bit again into Tamal, and you hit it again in the temple, and this time it feels like you've really connected with something, and you see it sprawl sideways onto the ground as you come back and you hit the one that's clawed to you, and you knock it away again as more begin to encroach. Tamal shouts at you to back up toward the door. And she's going to put out an arm and begin walking backwards with her shield out as the vampires encroach around. And as you get close to the door of the high hall, you can hear the fervent prayers inside, and you can hear a voice on the other side, which you know is the voice of Thavis Krieg, who is shouting to the gods, answer, please, save us from this vampire scourge. In his capacity as the high priest of Torm in Elturel, he is guiding a prayer of the entire nation to ask for salvation from above. And as you hear this, a vampire lord rises out of the ranks of the vampires. And he rises up into the dark sky, which has been darkened by the spell that the vampires have woven, cutting off the sun from the city. And he laughs a dark and echoing laugh. And he looks at you all and he says, "Little paladins, where are your gods now?" And he throws a fireball down at the paladins, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw at advantage, because
also everyone within 10 feet of me gets a +3 bonus to saving throws.
Guess what? You get a +8 because Tamal is there.
Oh, hell yeah.
And she's a hella paladin.
Hella paladin, y'all.
Right.
One is not simply a paladin.
It's
One is hella paladin.
hella the paladin. The
Okay,
irony.
so that's 29 because I got a nat 20 on my dex saving throw.
Nice. Yes. Okay. And yeah, Hailra did, or Tamal did amazing too. And of course, all the paladins down the line are supporting each other. And each of you, you have your shields with you, right? And you just create a wall. Like everyone just holds up their shield and the fire breaks out across this wall. And because of Tamal's leadership, no one takes damage. She, at the front of the chevron, is absorbing all of the damage that everyone else would have taken. So, as she absorbs this damage, you hear her call again over her shoulder. Hailra.
Yes.
This is what duty means. This is what it means to be a servant of Torm. And before we go, I want to let you know that I am so proud of the paladin that you have become. And at that moment, there is a burst of light in the sky as the companion springs into existence above you. And the undead begin to hiss and burn and turn to ash. And then you wake up. And you are in a cold sweat. It has been years since you've had a nightmare from the day the vampire scourge ended. The day that you thought everyone in Elturel was going to die.
Is there anyone else in the room with me?
I don't know, Snipe, do you think you would have negotiated for separate rooms? Ardius almost certainly would have paid for his own.
Yeah, I guess I would say, yeah, I'd share a room with Hailra, but I don't think I'd be there when she wakes up.
Okay.
I had no intention of sleeping, but I acted in the room, waited for her to fall asleep, and then I left.
Hailra, you wake up alone in the room.
Okay. As I wake up, I just take a few minutes to sort of regain myself. I'm just like, okay. And I get up and do I know about the rose garden that people go for like Tyr and Torm and the Triad?
Yes. So you know that across the road from Subar, there is this little half-elven, half-halfling wizard. She's like 105. And she is the annoyance of all of the patricians of Subar. Temerity Jones, who maintains a reflective garden on top of her hill for everyone who is not of Bane to go and sit and reflect and pray.
I'm gonna head out and go to the reflective garden.
Snipe, you have chosen to not sleep. So what have you been up to?
I've been kind of just walking around town. Basically just trying to make a casual walk around town, but down areas that I think are like heavily guarded, I would go to the usual roguing nature and just sneaking through the back alleys. And taking the long way around everyone.
Make me a stealth check.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever rolled stealth?
No, and I'm quite happy because it's plus 10. 23.
Nice.
23. Okay. Yeah, you are able to you're able to avoid the guards that patrol the streets, right? So Subar is more or less one very big, long street with a lot of side streets off of it. And the guards seem to stick mostly to the main streets. So if you kind of like duck off through the side streets, it's much easier to avoid the people with pointy spears wearing the Bane clothes. So where are you trying to go to, Snipe?
Is the rose garden I heard about near the Black Abbey?
Which rose garden?
The one that I overheard people talking about Temerity Jones, like having grown roses and that kind of stuff.
That one is out through the main gates and across the street.
Okay.
So Hailra has no particular problem with this because she's a paladin of Torm. And to disturb her, even if she is out on streets after curfew, would be against any protocol that the guards have. They would not mess with a knight of Elturel on business. You, however, are a slightly different situation. So because there are always guards at the gates, what exactly is your plan for sliding past them?
I'm not entirely sure. If there's any, first I just want to investigate to see like if there's any way to get past the gates, like either over a wall or like a smaller entrance that just like doesn't go past any guards at all.
Roll me a perception check.
Yo, I'm so happy you're getting to be a rogue. It's so
About
cool.
time.
Yeah, dude. I'm really happy for it.
17.
17. The walls around Subar are old, older than the Abbey, and have stood for longer. So there's ivy growing up them. A potential way up and over if you want to chance it.
Yep, I'll chance it.
Then I would like you to make one more stealth check.
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. Yeah, you are able to make it up and over the wall. Yeah, you're good. You're able to make it. I believe that you are the thief subclass, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have second story work, which pretty much lets you climb stuff. So yeah, you can absolutely get over this wall without any dexterity checks. It's mostly a matter of avoiding the eyes of the guards. So yeah, you can slip out of the city. And honestly, once you're on the outside of the city, the guards don't really care what you're doing. So you can absolutely make your way over to the hill on which Temerity Jones's cottage sits. It is almost entirely covered in briars and briar patches, but there is a path that leads up the hill, sort of up and around it in sort of a spiral pattern.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna go for a casual browse around the area, so I'm gonna open my pouch to let Arthur out and let him lead the way to see where he goes.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. What would Arthur do? Arthur would go up and Arthur sniffs at the briar patches. And he sort of takes them in for a minute. And then he moves to the path and he starts going up the path.
Okay. I follow him.
Okay. So you can walk up the path behind him. There are no tricks to this path. It simply leads to the top of the hill where there's a bit of a plateau. There's a very small cottage at the top. You see that there's a little candle burning inside. And next to it, most of the hilltop is covered with a sort of walled English garden, or at least there's a wall between the cottage and the garden. And then once you pass through the gate, it's just sort of an open space looking out to the surrounding hills, and there are flowers and it's overgrown and there are trees and there's a reflecting pool and all sorts of lovely things.
Yeah, I just kind of walk around for a bit just to take everything in, but I'll head towards where the pool is.
Okay.
Where the reflecting pool is.
Do you do anything at the reflecting pool?
I don't know. I just sit by it and attempt to reflect. I just think back to like how Raina would do it. I just think, is this how you do it? Is this how you reflect?
Okay. Hilra, you make your way without any fuss from the not any real fuss, right? They kind of like eye you, but they're not going to interrupt you because of who you are. And you can make your way across the road to Temerity Jones's and walk up the path to the garden. No problem.
As I'm on the hill, I just take a long, deep breath of just the fresh air, and then I go kneel beside the reflecting pool.
Okay. You will see Snipe whenever you walk into the garden. You'll see that Snipe is also there. Of course, doesn't have to interrupt what you're doing at all. But yes, you can kneel beside the reflecting pool. What do you do when you kneel beside the reflecting pool?
I just think about the battle with the vampires in Elturel. I think about Tamal. I think about Thavius Krieg. And then I just sort of make a prayer to Torm.
What does Hailra's prayer to Torm look like or sound like?
So Hailra would, she'd speak in Undercommon when she prays.
Okay.
But she kneels down. She has her hands palm up on her legs, and she just looks up with her eyes closed to the sky.
Snipe, do you react to this in any way? Hailra, she did notice you on the way in. She made no motion to acknowledge that you were there too. She just went to her business.
I'm fine with that. If anything, Snipe would take that as, well, I really am blending in.
Okay. Snipe, do you sleep at all during the night?
No, I don't attempt to sleep.
So, Kaya, you have been following these lighted footsteps through the tunnels. And you eventually arrive at a more open space, sort of like the one that you first saw whenever you entered. And you see a scorch mark on the ground. You see blood on the ground. And you see that there is a crater in one of the walls.
Okay. Do the footsteps continue in a direction, or do they stop here?
They continue. They go straight through onto the other side.
All right, she'll have a quick look around to see if, just make sure that there's no like dead bodies here or anything. But if she doesn't find anything, she'll just keep going.
Sure. Roll me a quick perception check.
6.
6. Okay. Yeah. So there's the Elturan banners around the ceiling, which you recognize as the same sort of banners from Fort Tamal. And there are like stone sarcophagus along the sides of the walls, but nothing else of note as you continue down the passage.
All right, she'll keep going.
Hattie and Raina. It has been hours, and there is no sign of Kaya or Seymour.
How many hours? So he's
Gosh. It's hard when there's nothing to do. I think it would depend on which one of you ask. I think for Hattie, it's literally days. I think for Raina, it's like, it's been a while. At least 2 hours. At least 2.
Okay. Hey, Raina. There was one time that I was waiting for another acquisitionist to arrive to help me out with a thing that was happening. And I was waiting with a group of people at this tavern. And they introduced me to this game where if you think about the game, you lose the game, but you have to say out loud that you've lost the game. But by losing the game and announcing that you've lost the game, you've made everyone else think about the game, and therefore they've lost the game as well. And everyone's playing the game at all times. Do you want to play with me?
Well, playing games sounds fun, but right now it's been almost like 2-3 hours and we haven't.
What about I Spy?
Let's not think about games right now. Let's think about a plan, because
the plan's still late, right?
I have a feeling Seymour and Kaya would be okay without us. It's been 2-3 hours. We know where Snipe is. We know where Hilra is. We know where Ardius is. We know where they are.
I don't want to go.
And why not?
Because what if they don't come out? No one will know where they've gone.
I have 2 ideas right now. We go back to to
Subar.
Subar.
Mm-hmm. Subar. Mm-hmm.
We go back to Subar and meet up with Snipe and Hilra and Ardius. Or you let me sleep for 4 hours, let me rest so I can contact Kaya tomorrow or in 4 hours and see where they are.
That means...
See if Kaya met Seymour somewhere, where they are. If Seymour's still alive, is Kaya still alive?
Does that mean we can't play I Spy?
Yep.
Okay.
That means I'm going to sleep. Well, I'm going into my trance. And I'll meet you in 4 hours again.
Are you sleeping in the open, like deadly thing?
No, that not like. It's just the basics right now for Hattie.
There's no hut.
There's no hut.
No.
There's no safety.
You're in the woods where the displacer beasts were.
Okay. Well, I can keep watch.
Snipe has the brain cell.
No, I'm just. You guys are not there, but I'm explaining it very simple for Hattie, because I'm not going to sleep right here. Reina knows she's not going to sleep right here.
Yeah, it's all good. I just like the idea that you're going, oh, we'll just wait here. It's fine.
Well, they're gonna go back to a bed where it's nice and comfortable.
Okay, so we're not sleeping here? We are sleeping here.
That's the animal hospital picking up the horses.
There's nothing left to pick up. That's the butcher.
Scooping them off.
At the salami factory.
Yep.
I'm gonna let good meat go to waste.
Iceland is like, yo,
That's right,
we
guys.
can get a good few hundred burgers
And
out
Who
of
I-
knows
it.
this
and
reference
IKEA.
but the Brits?
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to explain that after the game, but for
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
I want to hear whatever
Oh my,
this plan is.
god, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Janks. I just completely forgot that you don't know what Iceland is.
No, it's fine.
Britain. Oh, it's
Wait,
on,
Naomi
I've-
Carmen, do you know?
country.
Hold on.
That's
We're
for the
closing in on the
podcast.
end of the
This is
session,
the
so,
session.
so
Okay.
here we go.
So we are sleeping here.
Well, what's on my mind right now is that when I'm usually alone and I'm traveling outside, I will climb into a tree, tie myself to the tree, and make sure I'm like hidden. To just like sit
I
on a
can climb
branch and
trees.
make sure I'm stable. But with you around, I'm not sure.
I can climb trees. I can be quiet for like 4 hours.
You sure?
Mm-hmm. I have some buttons that are going loose, and I haven't I haven't pet Beetlejuice in a while, so.
Oh, at least you care for some pet.
We are so bitter! Jesus Christ!
Oh, I feel bad for the
Deep
horses.
breaths,
yo.
Dave, deep breaths.
Those horses were awesome.
Why are you so reluctant? I mean, I'm not dead, and I've traveled alone for a long time. I've traveled with one other person, I've traveled with a group of people, and I'm not
Well-
dead yet.
It's not that I'm scared of traveling alone. It's that I'm scared of traveling with you.
What?
It's taken 40 seconds of now.
Joy to be
It's finally
around!
revealed.
You are amazing, but if you need to be quiet, stealthy, and just hidden, it's like Hattie. You are amazing as a person, no doubt in that. But if you need to be quiet, sit still for 4 hours and do nothing, I'm not sure if you can handle it.
Sometimes, as an acquisitionist, you'd have to use the deeply ingrained superiority complex that Candlekeep has and acquire artifacts which aren't necessarily at the time the property of Candlekeep. And sometimes that means that you sit in a ditch for like 12 hours, doing nothing, saying nothing, waiting for everyone to kindly leave so you can acquire the piece of property and make it Candlekeep's. I can stay quiet for 4 hours.
Good job, dude. I was good. That was very good.
Okay. Then give me 4 hours and I'll be able to contact Kaya and Seymour.
Okay.
And Raina
Can I
will
pick
get
the
up.
tree?
Let's pick two separate but like next to each other trees.
Okay.
And
Hattie's
Raina
gonna
will
run
get
off.
right, not run off.
Delighted at picking trees. Like, yes, tree.
Like she runs up to
I
one,
picked
like
the
looks
spruce.
up, and then runs over to another, is like looking up at them, wandering round them.
Just because
And-
I have to know, like I have to know what are Hattie's criterias for a good sleeping tree?
Something that has a branch which isn't too high up, so it's not like at the very top of like the foliage, but like not at the bottom either. Somewhere in the middle, and the branch has like a wide base next to, like, going onto the trunk. So being the small halfling that she is, she can like sit with like space on both sides of her, where the branch is.
Sorry to be a rules lawyer here, Raina, but the 4-hour rest, the trance doesn't count as a long rest for elves. It's 4 hours. No, I'm looking at the rules by Jamie Crawford right now. Does a trance trait allow an elf to finish a long rest in 4 hours? The intent is no. It lets you meditate for 4 hours. The trace does let an elf does have to, but it isn't intended to shorten an elf's long rest. So it's supposed to be 4 hours rest, and then 4 hours just.
Dave, that's contradictory to what's on the.
Yeah, I'm looking at. No,
guys, I'm not gonna rule for it. No, hold on. I'm the dungeon master.
I think it's up to the
moderator. Yeah, absolutely.
Choice.
It's what I looked. I was like, oh wait, that's interesting. I was just looking at stuff. I just put it out there. I don't mind. It's all good with me. I just thought it'd be interesting to know.
For the sake of the situation in which they find
of course. It's fascinating.
Yes. 4 hours is acceptable.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically what Hattie looks for.
Okay. Because of your long history of robbing people on the road for Candlekeep, which is just that's beautiful, and I can't wait for that to come up later. So
yeah, Raina will put out the fire and make sure everything's like rustled up again, and she'll join Hattie. And once Hattie found 2 trees, she'll climb up in one, sit up in a branch, and tie a rope around her legs, and try to fall asleep.
Hattie's gonna sit there. She's gonna take off her jacket, put Beetlejuice down like a little bit further along the branch, and kind of like do awkward sign language at Beetlejuice to like be like, "Are you okay?" And then any loose buttons, she's going to like tighten up and resew, and just kind of maybe take some off and like move them around a little bit, and because she's been collecting a lot of buttons recently, and they've kind of all clustered in one place, so she's just going to try and like spread everything out equally, and she'll just spend the 4 hours doing that.
Okay. Hattie, tell me about some of these buttons that you have. What is the oldest button on your gi?
It's probably just a very basic black button that she borrowed from one of the nurses at the orphanage. And they had, like, you know how you like buy a jacket and it comes with a spare button? It was just one of those that she just kind of took, and she didn't really know why she took it. It was just like something shiny and fiddly that she could take from someone. And even though it didn't have any material value, it just had that kind of the feeling of like being a collector or something. So once she got one, and she kind of hid it in like her bed, she then found another one from like the headmaster at school, and it was a slightly fancier button, which was slightly silvered, and it kind of just continued from then.
Tell me, when you became an avowed, did you start sewing the buttons onto your gi immediately? Or was this something that you decided to do later on?
She was kind of looking, she was out doing her acquisitionist thing. And she found a button in the inn that she was staying at. And she didn't have anywhere to put it because she had to travel light. So instead of just like leaving it in the inn or kind of carrying it in her hand or trying to like slot it into a pocket and not lose it, she just sewed it on. And then as time went on, she never took it off, and it just seemed like the automatic thing to do of when you find a button, you sew it on.
What was the general opinion of the Avowed around Candlekeep whenever you started coming back with all these buttons on your gi?
It started out as a kind of like, why do you have a button on your gi? That doesn't, you're not meant to have that there. And her response was just, I just didn't want to lose the button. I'll take it off in a bit. Never did. And then over time, as it kind of took over a little bit, she just decided it was like a cool fashion statement. And everyone just kind of gave up on trying to get her to take them off. They've done everything from giving her new gi and telling her to wear that one instead. And then they finally just said at kind of any formal event that you go to, just wear the gi without the buttons. But whatever, just keep out of the way.
All right. Last question for you, Hattie, about
Jesus,
buttons.
okay.
What was Elithin's opinion of the buttons, your mentor?
Hattie doesn't really know, because he was the first person to be like, you really shouldn't be doing that technically. But he never really commented on it, other than when there was kind of maybe a more interesting button, so something that was like shiny or a gem or something that caught his eye. He'd go, oh, you've got a new button, kind of thing. But he'd kind of, it wouldn't be find the shiny new button, sew it on, and then the next time they see each other he spots it. It would be like, he doesn't really keep track. It would be like 2 weeks down the line he finally notices the shiny button and comments on it. But
I would also like to think and add that every so often when Hattie was staying at Candlekeep, she would just find a button in her room, maybe a particularly nice or interesting, no note, no anything attached to it, just every once in a while there was a button there.
okay, yeah.
So
I like the idea of everyone at Candlekeep being like, well, I've got this button, I mean, fuck it, I just give it to the halfling, I guess.
Sure.
Don't make that canon.
Look, you spoke it into existence.
No, it's just a funny ha-ha joke. Don't.
Everyone's a
No.
bookkeeper in Candlekeep, you're the button keeper.
Someone goes, I've got like this really fancy suit and I like the button fell off. Hattie, do you have the button? Do you have anything similar? And just kind of, well, it will cost you.
What do you buy?
So as dawn approaches, Snipe, you have spent the night not sleeping. So I would like you to take 1 point of exhaustion. Hailra, you prayed to Torm. Did you go back to sleep or did you spend the night in the garden?
I spent the night in the garden.
Okay. I'm still going to give you your long rest.
Okay.
Because you did sleep. Hattie, while you were arranging the buttons, I'd like to think that it's a sort of meditation for Hattie. And so you also get to have a long rest. Reyna gets her 4 hours of trance.
The rules are updated. I'm sorry.
What was just said?
What was you? Are you okay?
Okay, I don't know.
No. I'm apologizing because I just checked the rules. They're updated and it's true. The 4 hours. All right. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Okay.
Apologize to Carmen.
Oh, God.
Apologize to
So, Raina, you, against all odds, having tied your feet to the tree but not anything else, have not rolled out of the tree in your sleep and you're not hanging by your feet. And you get your 4 hours of rest. And so you snap out of your trance and you get your long rest. Seymour, you have spent the night resting, and so you also get a long rest. And you and Amarcos clean up your camp. And you begin down the tradeway toward Triel, to the crossing of the roads, where Amarcos will go out to the Dusk Road and you'll head south for Triel. The last thing that occurs is Kaya, tired and exhausted, emerging from a break in the wall into a forest clearing, 15 feet from where Seymour was just last night. And that is where we will end our session.
Nice. I had a feeling.
Why do we split the party? What are we doing?
I'm away.
Make it stop.
This is our punishment.
Why don't we communicate?
I still haven't had a long rest. I can't message anybody.
She was going to Elturel, yo. He's away.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's right. Kaya, I'm going to need you to take a point of exhaustion too, because you walked through the night.
God damn it.
Good shit.
What's wrong with us, man?
Wait, does Kaya have the map?
I don't have shit, man.
So how do you know where you are?
It's a great question. I don't think we established who's holding the map. I think it's
Kaya's
Hattie,
definitely
though.
Yeah.
not holding the map.
Because Hattie was the one who had the map because she got it from Candlekeep before she left.
Yeah.
Before everything. So
Yeah.
And that's it, man.
Iceland, right.
I'm sorry this week.
After.
Right.
After.
Oh, right. Okay.
After.
Yeah.
End
Let's wrap it up.
Should we do
So-
it on stream to explain though?
No. We'll leave it a mystery for
Google
us to
it.
uncover.
Force me Iceland.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of The Road to Elturel. Hope you all join us next week as we continue to split the party into finer and finer lines until everyone's on their own separate adventure. Can't wait for that. And tune in next tomorrow for more D&D, The Crimson Petal.
Yeah.
And until next time, adventure on, everybody.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.